I got too much. Hold on. Finally, I gathered all my confidence and courage and decided to share with you how I make my sourdough starter. This is something you would probably think now Heghineh will bring her measuring cups, her weights in order to measure and tell us like exact recipe or directions how to make sourdough starter. Unfortunately, if I didn't make it myself by exact measurements and by specific way, I can't do the same for you. So I'm going to try to simply, briefly explain and kind of share my way of making sourdough starter. It's super simple, it's super natural. The only thing you need to have the patience, you need to have that not careless, but rather I know I can do this, that attitude. I know it's gonna happen. I know eventually I will make my own sourdough bread. And how to make sourdough starters, you are asking. First of all, you need to have simple ingredients, good quality. Water and flour. Good quality water. I would consider any drinkable good water. I get from my fridge. I don't prefer bottled water anyway, because I think they are like imprisoned water and they can't give you what you expect, but I'm sure it will work as well. But I like using the water that flows, a live water. For the flour, I personally prefer using some of my freshly milled whole wheat flour. If you have a flour mill, grain mill, use it. If no, get good quality non-GMO organic whole wheat flour. Will be needing some of that flour, and regular all-purpose flour. Again, non-GMO organic. When you have all those natural and healthy ingredients, you will end up making a good quality sourdough starter. How I normally start, I'll get a quarter cup. I'll take some water, quarter cup water, quarter cup all-purpose flour, which is the same as AP, and a tablespoon of freshly milled or regular whole wheat flour. And I'll give it a good stir or good mix. Grab a clean, sterilized. This kind of jar will work as well. I like doing in plastic containers, small containers, because it's easy to clean after all, but it's up to you. Make sure you at least wash this with hot water if it's not boiling hot, but you don't want to leave there any germs or bacteria which can affect the development of your sourdough. So basically you grab your water. Oh, hold on, this is my all-purpose. I'll take all-purpose flour, quarter cup, a tablespoon, let's say, whole wheat, and the same amount, just quarter cup, water. You know, when I was looking for a couple of years ago, like almost 8, 9, I don't even remember how many years ago, how to make sourdough starter, there were so many hundreds of recipes, tutorials. They all included this same pattern: 50 gram water, 50 gram flour, mix it one day, next day you discard this many gram flour, this many gram water, add. Everything was all in grams and such a head spinning directions. And then I came up with this video. A man in his slippers, in probably underwear looking pajamas, he would explain, I wake up in the morning, I grab my pot or whatever jar, I add some flour, and then he went to his fridge, I add some water and then mix it. Next day I wake up, I do the same, and then I discard a little, and I repeat the same thing until I have this fluffy, bubbly and alive substance that's called sourdough starter. Well, I did exactly the same way. I didn't stress, I just went for it. Added flour, water. Next day, day 1, you mix this and you mix it well. You bother yourself with this specific action. Mix it, cover it not too tight so the bacteria kind of that flies in the air can find a way to enter and to start working your starter. Where is the thing? Oh, it's here. You just cover it like this, very loosely. Next day you repeat the same, 1/4 cup flour, 1/4 cup water. Mix it. Next day I don't add whole wheat flour, I just leave it. Flour, water. Day 3, because you'll be adding 1/4 cup and then another 1/4 cup. Eventually, in this not large jar, it will be too much. The space will not be enough. So you have no choice rather than discard some of that already 2-day-old sourdough starter. You'll discard probably tablespoon. I just discard it like this. It's just pour it out somewhere. You can save the discards in your fridge, make pancakes or just use it in anything, but let the quantity in this jar to remain not a lot, so it has the strength to work and to kind of absorb bacteria. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but it's such a natural process, you shouldn't have any difficulties. Day 3, you added a tablespoon water, a tablespoon flour, mixed it, set aside. You will repeat the same thing up to 14 days, maybe 20 days. Although сейчас now it's a right season to start making sourdough starter. The weather is warm, it will grow eventually. Day 3, 4, you may notice, oh, you see the bubbles, it kind of wiggles around. You may think it's alive, let me just go ahead and use it. Don't do it, have the patience. It needs the time to grow and to gather some strength, or else if you do it too early, you'll end up with not good tasting bread, not strong texture. Also, one thing, smell it. Day 3, 4, it should have this weird smell. You wouldn't like it, I think, unless you like weird smells. So when the starter is ready, it should have this beautiful, slightly sourish, bready, this wonderful smell. I think everyone likes that smell, but in mature, not mature sourdough starter has very, very not delicious smelling substances smell. Okay, I said it, there is no such expression, but I already did. Too late. Well, I'm sure after this complicated explanation how to make sourdough starter, you will have quite a few questions. When I have questions, I just go to Google. There are so many bread groups. I get my questions from those kind of groups, but I'll be happy to answer your questions. It's such a complex and such a beautiful thing, creating sourdough starter. Everyone will make it in different time period, depending on your flour quality, on your fillings, on the temperature, on your water temperature. Everything matters. So don't rush, don't think it has to be exactly 7 days or exactly 14 days. Just have that patience. Don't discard it if you have that weird smell. Don't discard it. I mean, don't throw it away. If you see it's so watery or the water got separated from the bottom part, that's normal, that's okay. It means your starter is hungry. You need to feed a little bit more flour. That's why when I tell you feed exactly 1 tablespoon of flour or 1 tablespoon of water, all of a sudden it may not be appropriate to your specific sourdough starter, because it may be hungry because, let's say, your flour had less nutrition for your starter. So when it's watery, it has to have this, let me show you the consistency. It has to have this nice, thick, bubbly, light, airy, and we say it's breathing when you see the bubbles are popping, and it's so light, and I mean so much air in it, and the smell is marvelous. Usually they also do float test. Let's say you grab a water, cold water, and if your starter floats, it means it's ready. For example, I just mixed flour water. I just want to show you. If it doesn't float, and it will not float, look, it went directly to the bottom. It means it's not ready to work for you and to give you some goodness bread. And let's see this one. Look how it's floating. No problemos whatsoever. I don't do these tests. I just know it's ready. I can smell it, I can see it. So that's why it's something you need to not only go by step by exact measurements or recipe or directions. It's something you need to actually feel, smell, and just sense it. So it's easy, it's so natural. Just do it. Don't stress, don't panic. Give it some time, have some patience, and it will eventually it will grow and give you some bread. And also, if you don't mind, on day 5, 6, or even 7, change your jar, or simply place it somewhere. Wash your main jar very well, sterilize it. Keep your starter in sterilized jar, or else they say there are bad bacteria flying out there and they may interfere with the development. One thing, if you want to do some cheating, let's say it's not growing, I don't know what to do, you can have some, let's say, where do I normally set this? In my countertop on the kitchen, in the kitchen somewhere, in a corner. Some people place it in microwave. I don't understand how the bacteria will go into microwave, but I heard they do it. I've never done it. I called my starter Arevik, which is in Armenian. If I translate in English, it's like sun. I like at some point during the day, placing my starter when I feed it. I want to have some sunlight, like just close by. To my starter, it's very beneficial. I don't know about you, but I don't put my starter in dark and shady places. It doesn't like it. I don't know about yours. Well, shady people must probably like putting their starters in shady places, but no, don't do it. They like warm places, and if there is a sunbeam or a little sunlight, don't be shy, just place it over there. Also, you can have, let's say, some pour vinegar somewhere in a small jar and place it around where you put. That's why I was telling the story. I forgot why I'm telling. You place that already bacterialized ingredients around your starter, and it will probably fly and help it somehow. Or one thing that helps to grow any starter is raisin. I would add it probably on 4th or 5th day. Add some organic. I add black raisin, but I don't think it doesn't matter. It matters the black or gold raisins. Just place the raisin after you stir it. Put the raisin in there and just close it like you would do it. Next day, when you want to feed the starter, remove the raisin, because when you start mixing it with the raisin, it will crumble and the pieces of raisin will be in your starter, which is fine, but you want to have smooth and pure looking sourdough starter. Well, I don't know what else to share with you. I didn't want to do this day by day, like 14 days of filming how to make sourdough starter. I hope this was helpful. If it wasn't helpful, I'm very sorry, but this is what I have just start it. It will work. Trust me. You have questions, ask me. I'll try to be helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and wait for sourdough bread recipes coming soon. Thank you. Oh, I didn't show the consistency, or I did. Let me just pour it. This is a therapy.